U.S. President Donald Trump saying the U.S. will slap a 35% tariff on imports on Canada effective August 1st.
Donald Trump has declared his intention to impose tariffs on the European Union, adding the bloc to a growing list of targets that already includes Canada and Mexico.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India expects to complete a free trade deal with the European Union by the end.
Imagine discovering when you wake up that the United States has imposed hefty tariffs on Europe, Canada, and even Mexico. We're talking about 50% of European goods and 35% of Canadian imports, from steel and cars to denim and butter. Initially, although it may seem like just another trade dispute, this might actually be the most significant shift in international trade in decades. Because pushback wasn't the only thing that followed. A complete realignment took place. A $43 billion Boeing aircraft contract was halted in a matter of days. Canada emerged as a significant trading partner for Europe after Europe imposed retaliatory tariffs totaling $95 billion. Small ripples are not what we're discussing. We are discussing a $2 trillion deficit in international trade, and this is the bit where nobody appears prepared to acknowledge in Washington. These tariffs are permanently alienating partners rather than bringing them back to the table. Consider this. One of the largest airlines in Europe, Ryanair, had placed an order for $30 billion worth of Boeing aircraft. That transaction could fall through now. Additionally, European carriers are publicly exploring purchasing aircraft from China's COMAC for the first time. It was unimaginable only a few years ago. If that occurs, Boeing will suffer more than just a loss. It's a setback for the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, which has established the international norm for decades. Consider that. Beijing, and Brussels, not Washington, wrote the rules of the skies. Meanwhile, Europe is taking political hits where they hurt. Levi's trousers, Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and even peanut butter are subject to tariffs. Items associated with American culture and swing states. European Harley-Davidson exports have already decreased by 30%. Farmers in the U.S. have been particularly heavily struck. Agricultural shipments to Europe totaling more than $23 billion have simply vanished. Here's the twist now. Canada constructs bridges while Washington constructs walls. Canada has virtually zero taxes on goods moving both ways because to its trade agreement with Europe. This implies that Canadian steel is entering Europe without any problems, whereas American steel is subject to 50% tariffs, while European behemoths, like Siemens and Alol, are moving both Canadian clean tech exports to Europe and supply chains to Canada are growing rapidly. Ottawa is not merely covering a void, Europe is starting to trust it more than Washington. Take a step back and consider who is actually winning in this situation. Instead of strengthening its hand, America's tariffs have sparked a silent revolution. New trade agreements are being signed by Europe with the Middle East, Africa, and India. Canada is securing billion-dollar contracts for clean energy and hydrogen without the U.S. Additionally, Comarmac of China will have an opportunity to compete with Boeing in its own country. This is strategy, not chaos. Every new contract, rerouted, shipment, and canceled Boeing order is a component of a bigger strategy. Lessen reliance on the U.S. and create a more robust system of multipolar trade. Washington's allies search for alternatives more quickly, the more it weaponizes tariffs. They're also locating them. This is the crucial query. What happens if the U.S. is merely another player following the rules in international commerce instead of being the one setting them, written in another location? Additionally, consider the symbolism. How can Boeing, a business that once represented American power, lose credibility so quickly? What prevents the same thing from occurring in semiconductors, technology, and agriculture? Tariffs may